When it comes to goal physiques, us guys tend to turn to Hollywood physiques for inspiration. I'm really curious to hear what male physiques in Hollywood inspired you when you first started lifting and how they have changed over the years. For myself personally, at the age of 13 is when I started working out. The big action heroes at the time, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, and Jean-Claude Van Damme, they were my inspiration. Their posters covered my gym wall, my parents' basement. Clearly, Arnold Schwarzenegger, best physique in the world. I knew it's just no chance for me to get a physique like that with my genetics, but still, I was fascinated by mainly his mindset, his mentality, his view of looking at the body as a work of art, as a sculpture that he was trying to carve. So really gained a lot of inspiration from Arnold, even though I knew that it wasn't a physique that I'd ever be able to attain. Now, Sylvester Stallone, especially in like Rocky 4, when he weighed about 175 pounds, 5'8", that is a realistic physique, I think, for a lot of guys out there. And it's crazy, like today's standards, I think a lot of the keyboard jockeys would be mocking him, like, do you even lift, bro? It's just not up to par with the action heroes that you see out there today. Jean-Claude Van Damme was my number one physique that I was aiming to achieve. He had a lean physique, not overly muscled, very athletic and durable. So I was really fascinated by his physique more than anything. It provided me with that initial inspiration. So that was in like the mid to late 80s. And then in the late 90s, 1999, Fight Club came out, and Brad Pitt's Fight Club physique, I think, dominated what a lot of guys were aiming to achieve for at least a decade. Everyone wanted that lean look. It wasn't overly muscled as well. It's not like he had a ton of muscle. I think he wasn't even 160 pounds, and he's taller than Stallone in that. So I think he's like 5'10", 5'11", or something like that, sitting under 160 pounds, but looked great. So that was a physique that a lot of us guys could achieve. Very realistic and looked fantastic. So I know for myself personally, definitely in my genetic cards, I'd say my physique is pretty much in line with that Brad Pitt Fight Club look. Maybe my arms are a little bit bigger than his. So, but I think chest-wise and everything, just a level of leanness, I think that's very close to where I'm at. So I was really happy to say that was a goal physique that a lot of guys were aiming for, because it's very achievable for me, and I think very achievable for a lot of guys out there. Maybe not so much for the guys who are not kind of naturally lean. A lot of guys shouldn't be striving for that level of lean if it just doesn't suit you well. But again, you don't have to be overly muscled. Just have a good looking aesthetic physique there. Then we started looking towards like the Marvel movies started coming out. Hugh Jackman, his Wolverine physique. You see how things started to change when those series evolved. The first role that he played as Wolverine, he looked good. It was an average physique. Again, I think a physique that a lot of guys could achieve, but then each movie consecutive afterwards, you could tell that he was getting a little help out there. And I think nowadays, you really can't be a superhero without getting some kind of assistance there. So you see his evolution. I've done recorded videos like Kumail Nanjiani, his big transformation. Even then, like when he first went through his transformation, still looked like a realistic, attainable physique for a lot of us guys. But I think definitely at that point, if he hadn't already handed in his natty card, he handed it in right after that initial transformation there, as he started continuing to improve his physique. And Frank Grillo, another great physique, and even him coming on saying he's on TRT and who knows what kind of things he was going to be doing after that. So again, we started seeing unrealistic, unachievable physiques. Shouldn't say that. Naturally, it's tough for a lot of guys. And like you're looking at Chris Hemsworth in Thor, just a incredible physique to look at, but is it achievable naturally? Maybe for some guys with incredible genetics very well could have that physique to strive for. But really great. I did a poll like to see who, if the Fight Club look, the Brad Pitt Fight Club look was still something that guys were aiming for, or something maybe along the lines of Chris Hemsworth. And everybody that chimed in, at least to me, you can tell what my audience is like, they would prefer the natural look. They didn't want the risk of taking performance enhancing drugs to have to get that look there. They preferred the Brad Pitt Fight Club look there. So that made my data here, but you just see a lot of the roles out there. A lot of these action heroes, a lot of these superheroes are definitely required to be enhanced in order to stand out. So things have really changed, definitely from the 80s to the 90s, and now in 2020. It's crazy how things have evolved over the years. But really asking, like, so who who has the physique that you're aiming for. And a lot of the responses that I got back, like Daniel Craig in James Bond. For myself personally, I think that Jason Statham, his look is fantastic. I think very realistic for me, not far off from that Fight Club look as well. So again, lean and muscle, I'd say more aligned with me than the Fight Club look, because he has a little more muscle. Definitely has more muscle than what Brad Pitt had in Fight Club there. So I think that's a very achievable physique. The Daniel Craig look is very achievable. Someone else chimed in, like the Ryan Reynolds look. I forget what movie he was talking about there. But that was, again, in some of the roles that he's played, looks pretty freaking jacked. A great look, but not overly muscled, and even not overly lean as well. You look like back in the day, we got Carl Weathers with Rocky there, was with Sylvester Stallone. An incredible physique as well for the bigger bros. So us smaller guys could kind of look to Sylvester Stallone at 175 pounds lean, and the bigger guys like Carl Weathers, over 6 feet tall, I think it was 220 pounds in that role, carved out, like just an incredible freaking solid, strong physique. Again, could be a realistic goal for some naturally larger men who just carry more muscle, have the bone structure to carry more of that muscle. And then looking nowadays, his son, Apollo Creed's son in Creed, Michael B. Jordan, again, a great physique that you could aim for right now. I think it was like under 190 pounds for his role there when he leaned down there. Muscular physique, lean, achievable, I think, for a lot of guys out there who are, again, bigger guys, bigger bone structure that can support that muscle mass. Who are some of the other actors and actresses? But either way, I would love to hear who you can relate to nowadays. There's just so many different physiques out there. And if you find that you've been influenced at all by the larger physiques that we're seeing on the movie screens for some of these superheroes, does it kind of warp your perspective of what an achievable physique is? Because like, I do consider myself that kind of Fight Club look. Yeah, I'm mocked often. Like, do you even lift bar? You're too small. How can you be dishing out this kind of advice? Of course, guys hiding behind their keyboards and everything. But again, I think that's a look that still is very appealing to a lot of guys out there. So I'd really love to hear if you can brush off all that, all the standards that we're seeing out there today, and just focus on yourself. Again, I think really it comes down to like not trying to compare yourself to anyone else, but it's still good to kind of have, you see a physique out there, the person kind of has your structure. Like, I know I'm not ever going to be a thick guy. I've got some pretty broad shoulders. I got longer clavicle bones, but I'm not thick. So trying to see an actor who is very thick, I'm not going to have a barrel chest. I'm not going to have this massive yoked back or anything like that. It's just not in my genetic card. So I got to find actors who have similar physiques to me and go, you know what? That's pretty damn close. That's something that I can strive for. It's a realistic goal. It's within reach. It's also challenging at the same time. But again, all I can ever ask of myself is just to give the most of myself to all that I'm doing when it comes to my nutrition, my training, my sleep, my recovery, all those factors, taking that into place and just let the cards fall where they may. But it's good. It's good fun to have some inspiration there. And even looking at these actors here, you look at the movie like Gladiator and 300. So, pardon me, like Russell Crowe in Gladiator, I don't think he's ever looked that lean and muscular in any other role than that. You see him in the new, one of the new Thor movies there, looking rather large. So he's not, he did that for a role. You look at the movie 300, which is Gerard Butler there. Like, I don't think he's ever been really lean and muscular for a role like that. It'd be interesting to see the whole cast of 300, how they all look, because they were the inspiration. Those gladiators and Spartans were the inspiration for us back then. But for a lot of those guys, that was just a snapshot in time. That was just a moment. They got in shape for a role. That's not something they're going to maintain for life. So again, we got to be careful with what we're striving for. Is it a peaked look that we're seeing on the screen, or is it a maintainable look that we can hold over the long term? So that's why I really like kind of aspiring for physiques, the guys that they are lean and muscular and they're able to keep that for the long term. So really, again, curious to hear what physiques inspire you, and if you have been impacted at all by seeing these larger and larger physiques out there. I know for myself personally, I could care less. The bigger they are, it is what it is. That's them. They're working with their genetics, and they may be working with some enhancement there. That's them. I'm just doing the most that I can with my physique here. So again, really curious to hear your thoughts, your insights, your feedback on this topic. So please be sure to drop a comment down below. Hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please do me a huge favor and smash that thumbs up button. I'd really appreciate it. If you want to see more videos like this, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that alert button so you're notified each time I upload a video. Have yourself an amazing day. I will catch you in the next video.